United transfer news, normal news, and all that jazz. And there's lots and lots to discuss. And you know what? We are not sat in that position where Manchester United have not made any transfers, because we have made a transfer. Click the eye in the top right-hand corner. You can get the United stand reaction to Daniel James signing, and I think we were very excited about that. I just want to say as well, we've got a few things to talk about. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, Lozano, Sessegnon, the signing of Mata, the re-signing of Mata, the release of players. Lots and lots to talk about. But we are playing a game tomorrow. United Stand FC are kicking off at midday tomorrow. The video. I've been on the gym. The address where we're playing is in the video description. It's Tithe Sports and Social Club in Harrow. So if you want to come down for midday tomorrow and watch United Stand play, you're more than welcome. Let's get that United Stand army up and running. Be looking forward to that. But Bruno Fernandes, will he be Manchester United's next signing? Should we have kept Juan Mata on? I think people are getting really upset about the Juan Mata thing. So basically, Manchester United have released a load of players. You know, Callum Gribben, a lot of people ask about him. What happened? He's been released. Apparently, he's had bad injury problems. But Herrera and Valencia were on that release list. Obviously, they were out of contract. But Mata is not on that, because Mata has been offered a new contract by Manchester United, which has divided a lot of people. But at the end of the day, what if we're just keeping him on for what he's good at, writing a weekly vlog? He's a very intelligent guy, so maybe we're just keeping him on as a vlog writer for the United Stand. I don't know. Sorry, not for the United Stand. We wouldn't have him. Manchester United. So I don't know. But look, we'll talk about Juan Mata in a minute. I think Daniel James signs for Manchester United. Great news. And then you keep somebody who's very, very visibly on the decline. I love Juan Mata. I like Juan Mata. But I said it so many times. I said it at the first game of the season, which is nearly a year ago against Leicester. He got absolutely annihilated by Chilwell at Old Trafford, and we were lucky to win 2-1. I think he played in the next game against Brighton and got annihilated again. He just had a very, very bad season, and he had a bad season because he's lost a yard of pace. And who at Manchester United can not see that? And he's going, yeah, and I you know what? I don't know who I'm talking about here. I could be talking about Ollie. I could be talking about Michael Carrick, Ed Woodward. I don't know who I'm talking, Mike Phelan. But they are wrong. They are wrong. To look at Mata and think he can do a job for his next season, you're wrong. He was awful last season. But you know what? I'm not surprised they're wrong. Because they're wrong giving Ashley Young another contract. They were wrong to give Phil Jones 5 years. So there's 3 bad, wrong decisions there. And that's from current people at the club. So, you know, it's not all a bed of roses. It's not all about give him a load of money and it's going to work. It's not all definitely going to work. Because there's 3 very, very poor decisions there. Mata should be released. Young should have been released. And Jones should never have been given a contract. That's not on Mourinho. I think everyone likes to blame stuff on Mourinho. I don't mind doing it. But those 3 decisions are the current regime, and they are wrong, in my opinion. There you go. No, they are not, says Ivanov. Maybe adapt on no, they are not, Ivan, because you're going to get buried if you do. And I could do with a laugh. But it's a good start to the Manchester United transfer window. Daniel James is here, and Bruno Fernandes is expected to be the next one. Now, a lot of people have been saying, you've not been talking about Bruno Fernandes before. Just before we do that, I'm just going to put my earpiece in for this as well. This is from Transfer Daily on May the 1st. Listen to this. I know a lot of people will have heard it on previous shows. The information I've had from 2 separate sources, and take this with a pinch of salt because I certainly do in relation to one of the players. I've been told twice now that United will sign Thomas Meunier from PSG, Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, and Jadon Sancho. That's not all they're going to sign apparently, but those 3 players are high on the list. Personally, I don't think we'll get Sancho. I think we'll get Lozano. That's my personal prediction, but I have been told about those 3 players. And Bruno Fernandes is very interesting. So there you go. That was from, and anybody who's been watching the United Stand, I did give you that information back in March, but that is from May the 1st. Nobody's been talking about Bruno Fernandes, and I have been told by 2 separate people back in March that Bruno Fernandes was one of 3 players United really wanted. So I really do believe we're going to get him, and if we don't get him and he goes to Liverpool or Man City, I will go, I'm really surprised about that, but I really do think we're going to get him, and I would never be so. Look, there's a lot of people on social media out there who say, oh, De Ligt's had a medical, it's just waiting till afterwards. De Ligt himself has come out and said today, after the game yesterday, I will take time to reflect on what is the best option for my future. Hasn't made his mind up. Yet you've got people saying medical's been booked, this, that and the other. It's absolute bollocks. I would never say to you, there's medicals booked for Bruno Fernandes and everything like that. There might well be, but I do think we're going to sign him because of what I've been told. I think he'll be a fantastic player. I mean, look at his stats there. games 48, goals 28, assists 14. That's a goal involvement in 42 of 48 games and a player rating of 7.6. Yes, it's the Portuguese league, but that shouldn't be a reason not to like him. And people say, oh, he looked a bit reckless in the game against Switzerland. Good. I want a bit of reckless. I want a bit of crunching tackles. I want that because Paul Scholes is the most reckless player we ever had, and I love it because it shows a little bit of passion. And I think that Bruno Fernandes will be our next signing, and I think that there is a reason that United have announced Daniel James this week, because I think next week is about the next big signing, because we know, I really think what United have done is they've gone, you know what? We've got this player, this player, this player coming in. We've got that player going out, that player going out. We've got to manage our diaries over the next month before we go on the tour. So if we announce this player to next week, well, what about Daniel James? Well, let's do Daniel James today, and then we can do that player, and then we can do that player, and then we can do that player. And that's us over the next few weeks because we've got to sort out medical. I think that's what United have done, and that really excites me because I know we're going to sign players. I saw somebody today saying, well, is Daniel James, Bruno Fernandes, Rabiot, and Manolas and Meunier a very good window or not? Well, it maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it is players coming in through the door, and we'll judge that at the end of the start of August. Dazo W says, welcome to James. Hopefully he will push Martial to play better. Keeping Mata is not moving forward. I know what I think about Daniel James signing for Manchester United. I think it has to be the first step. If you're dressing yourself to go out, we've basically put some really good trainers on today. Really good trainers, and they make us fast. That's what Daniel James is. He's the first layer. I could use it a cake as an analogy, I suppose, but I'm going to use a naked body, and it can be yours. So it's yours. You can keep it to yourself. We don't have to imagine anything. You put your trainers on. You can have socks on if you want. Some people don't. But you put your trainers on, but the rest of you is naked. So your trainers can be brilliant, and that's Daniel James. And when you're running, you're really fast. But if you ain't got any other clothes on, you look at Pratt and you're naked. So we've got the trainers on. What we need to do now is the nice pair of trousers, the nice shirt, and maybe a waistcoat. I don't know, but we need to put more layers on. We need to get ready. Probably put some pants on, actually. I don't really like not wearing pants under trousers. So we do need to do that. But we've made a good start today. But if Daniel James was the only signing, we'll be running around naked next season looking really stupid. And that's a fact. And that's why it won't happen, because we will be adding trousers and shirts and maybe a jumper to prepare us for the winter. We'll be ready. And I truly do believe that. Spurs will not go for a 70 million signing, says Wesser. So the latest with Bruno Fernandes is that his agent's going into London, which I've already mentioned, and people think that's to do with Spurs. United are all over this deal, and the United have been all over this deal for a long time. And, well, hence that little clip I played for you there. Manchester United are all over this deal. It doesn't mean that another club can't come in. Man City are not in for Bruno Fernandes. They've even sort of released a public statement asking the press not to keep linking them to him, which is a weird thing to do, but there you go. I think he would suit Liverpool a lot, and I think that is a bit of a threat. I don't see Spurs as a threat. I mean, they can offer Champions League football, London life, I suppose, but I think Manchester United is going to be the place where he goes. And yeah, he's got a good relationship with Bernardo Silva in the Portuguese national team, but he can still have a good relationship with Bernardo Silva in Manchester, just not at Man City. They can still socialise. I don't think we're going to stop them doing that. But I'll be really excited by this deal. I've said it so many times. I think, to me, he is the signing that would almost be our signing of the summer if we're not going to get a De Ligt or a Sancho. So I'll be very happy for it to happen. I think it's going to happen. We've been talking about it a long time on this channel, and it tends to come true when that sort of things happen. So let's hope it does. Can Ali succeed with new signings in your opinion, says Christian Medina? You know what? You've got to be even-handed. I don't really want to talk about what's going to happen at Manchester United, but we sort of opened the show up a little bit. So Mata's been offered the new contract. That is a mistake. In my opinion, Mata getting a new contract is a mistake. And I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that one, but I genuinely think that it is, because I think that when you look at it, I look at players' performances on the pitch. And to say, oh, Gary Neville needs to go was a hard thing for United fans to say, but he knew it himself and he went because he's a legend of the club. And to say Mata needs to go isn't nice. He's not a legend of the club, but he's been a very good servant to the club. But the reality is he's not good anymore. He's not a good footballer anymore. He isn't. he played a couple of games towards the end of the season where he did okay, but they were the games that suited him. He's just a bit part player. And you can't keep a bit part player on 150 grand a week who's lost a yard of pace. I just think it's a bad decision. Move him on. And what we're hoping for now is that Matt has got the common sense to move himself on, because he can do. But if he stays for another year, there's no point to it. And people say, oh, he's a good influence around the dressing room. Where's your evidence of that then? Where is your evidence that Juan Mata is a positive influence on that dressing room? Considering that is the dressing room that fell apart at the end of the season, that was crap under Mourinho. No, there is no positive influence in that dressing room. There is no leader in that dressing room. There is no nurturer of talent in that dressing room, because if there was, we would have seen the evidence of it. That dressing room is an individuality dressing room where everybody's out for themselves. There's no cohesion. There is no glue. And we should not be thinking, oh, keeping people like Ashley Young and Juan Mata is a good thing because they're experienced. Where is the proof of that experience? Where is the proof of that leadership? All United have proved over the last 2 years is that they have no leaders. Age is just a number. I tell this myself all the time as I get older, but age is just a number. Just because Juan Mata and Ashley Young are in their 30s doesn't mean that they are Mr. Experienced leader people. They're not. Everybody's got a different personality. They're nice people, I'm sure they are, but they're not players that I think we need to keep at United to help people like Daniel James come into the club and get to know it. Bollocks. This is where we've become very weak as a football club, because it used to be relevant with people like Ryan Giggs and Scholesy and Gary Neville, and even people like you go back further and further, people like Brian Robson, who were into their 30s, and new players come in and they show them the way of United because they're good players. I don't want people showing people. I don't want Ashley Young showing Daniel James the way of Manchester United when Ashley Young is a crap player for Manchester United. It doesn't make any sense. So I think it was an opportunity to move Mata on. But also, let's be fair to Mata, we should have moved Ashley Young on and we gave him a contract virtually straight away. Because the funny thing is, Prishwash Prasad says the class of 92 had leaders to nurture them. Who will Daniel James look up to? Lingard playing FIFA? Fair point. Sam says, what's the minimum amount of players we could sign this summer? Well, it could be one, I suppose. I don't think it will be. And True United says, Ruben Diaz for 60 million, Rabiot nothing, Mounier 25 million, Bruno 80 million, Pepe 70 million. I think a lot of people would like that. Welcome to Mike Thomas, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club, which you can click and join by doing so below. But the issue Manchester United will have is that we do lack that leadership in the team. And I don't know. It's going to take a long time to resolve it. But when somebody says to me, and I've answered this in a long way, where do you think we're going to end up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? But he's kept Jones, he kept Young, he's going to try and keep Mata. They're bad decisions. They are bad decisions. I know Ollie will be like, well, you don't know what's going on the training ground. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't. Like, put my hands up. Well done. I don't. But I know what goes on the football pitch, and I've been watching football for a long time, like many people have, and I don't believe in this arrogance of I'm a coach, I know more about football than you. It's bollocks. It's absolutely bollocks. I've been coached at a relatively good level in my teens. I've played at good levels in my teens. I've played pub football. I've played it all. And to be honest with you, there's not a lot of difference. At the end of the day, it's a load of men on a football pitch trying to put a round thing into 2 goals. And you can change formations and you can get better players, but ultimately football's a very simple game. And the point is, when we sit watching Manchester United play at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, or 3 o'clock on a Saturday, or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, we watch the game. We ain't picking our nose looking at the birds in the sky. We watch the game. And we as fans have clocked up thousands upon thousands of minutes watching our football team play. And we know what's good. We know who can play football, and you get a feel for it. And the reality is, Young, Mata, Jones, for different reasons, are on the decline. And they're not quality players, but they've been kept on. And what's really interesting for me is that Mata, Herrera and Valencia are out of contracts. 2 of them have left. Herrera didn't want our contract. Valencia probably wasn't offered one. And Mata is humming and ahhing about it. Did you know that Ashley Young was in the same situation as Herrera and Mata? He was out of contract this summer, but he signed a contract back in February. Now, that's either because they were offered a better contract back in February, or he was just desperate to sign the first thing that Manchester United offered him, which shows 2 mistakes, really. 1, he's desperate to stay, he will sign anything. 2, We gave him a really good contract offer. I don't know. George Kyle, Mata being offered a new contract is expected. At the start of the year, Smalling, Jones, Young and Mata were to be let go. Mediocrity rewarded and accepted. Yeah, and that for me are worrying mistakes. They're worrying trends in this squad. I like the signing of Daniel James. I like some of the things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done in his short time here, but I'm not 100% happy with everything he's done, and I'm open to that. But I do back him, and I want him to do well. But there you go. Interestingly, I just want to say, so Bruno Fernandes to me is a table turner on this transfer window for Manchester United. If we bring a player of that quality in this summer, and we, whether Pogba goes or not, if Pogba stays and you've got Bruno Fernandes as well, we're a lot stronger in that team. Somebody said to me, well, what happens with Fred if you sign Bruno Fernandes? And to be honest with you, I think Fred's finished at United. I do. I think the evidence is there. And, you can clip this and keep it for a year's time as well if you want, because I do think that in relation to Fred, he should have been given 10 games in a row around the time he was doing okay, around the end of March when we had injuries and he played CDM. He made a couple of mistakes, but he showed potential in that position, and any manager that actually was wanting to build that player out would have kept him in the team. First opportunity, Matic and everyone came back, Fred was out the team again. Ollie don't fancy Fred, so Fred's a £50 million midfielder. I don't think he's going to go this summer. He might get loaned out, but I think what'll happen with Fred is he'll be a bit part player next season and then he'll be gone next summer. So I don't see a future for Fred. So Bruno Fernandes. And to be honest with you, why would you not sign Bruno Fernandes because you've got Fred? No, sod that. You go and get the midfielders you want. Ollie didn't buy Fred either, so it's not even one of Ollie's signings. So Ollie doesn't need to worry about stuff like that. Get Bruno Fernandes in, definitely, and then let's look to move on. I just want to say to everybody as well, it's a big summer for Manchester United. It's a big summer for the United stand as well. We're currently on just under 465,000 subscribers. If our mathematics are correct, there is a chance we could hit 500,000 subscribers by the first game of the season. It's got to go quite steady to do it. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do, bottom right hand corner. And if you are subscribed, please get sharing the video. There's a share button there. Smash a like on the video. Tell people about it. We're on the road to 500,000 and we've got some big things planned when we do hit 500,000. So please do subscribe and share. Imrano TV says apparently Herrera's contract offer was a pay cut, which is why he rejected it. Yet we offered increases to Jones, etc. I read that, Imrano. I read that this week and I thought, what a disgrace that is. What an absolute disgrace that Herrera was not actually offered as good a contract as Phil Jones. In this, I've read this a couple of times. Apparently, there's a bit of an English bias in the Manchester United dressing room for the English players, but that wouldn't surprise me because there are constant stories coming out about trying to sign young English players. I mean, I don't know what this is all about. I don't know what it is. Maybe this is why Ashley Young's still at the club, because somebody's got confused when they're saying young English players and thinking young English player. Oh, Ashley Young, give him another contract. I don't know. Bad joke, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. But we're going to learn next season. We'll learn next season. I cannot answer that question, Kalachi Gaming. I've got no intention of bringing that into this channel. So, sorry. And not going to make any comments. So, while we'll take a long time to get to 5... No, it won't, Martin Sheridan. I've just told you what will happen with it. It's not going to take a long time. It will take about 2 months. Boys, I've just spoke to Fergie. He said we've got to pressure the board to sign Sterling, says Zephyr Gaming. But, interestingly, just to give you an update on Hirving Lozano, because on that little clip I played there from the 1st of May, I said, I don't think we'll get Sancho, I think we'll get Hirving Lozano. I hope I'm proved right on that. The latest on Hirving Lozano, there actually is an update on Hirving Lozano. There was a story on it this morning, is that Napoli, who are favourites to sign him, have a deal in place with Mino Raiola, who is Hirving Lozano's agent, to bring him to Napoli. But Lozano is actually holding out because he wants to come to Manchester United, and there's been a bit of a hint that United are interested in him, so he's going to hold off and wait and see. So there it is. Hirving Lozano could come to Manchester United. I think he's 23, 24, Mexican, right winger, very, very good player. He's come over from Mexico. He's done well at PSV. I think he'd be a fantastic signing for United. I've liked him for a long, long time. I'd love him to come to United. He'd be so popular as well. Imagine if we got Hirving Lozano at United. Mexico's got a huge, huge football fan base, and all of those would be loving Manchester United, which is not a reason to sign somebody. We made that mistake with bloody Sanchez and Chile, but Hirving Lozano, I'd love him to come to United. £40 million is what Napoli are going to play for him as well. Absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. I would love Manchester United to go and get him. And if we don't get him, I wonder who our right wing option is. Because if it ain't Jadon Sancho, I haven't got a bloody clue who we're looking at getting. Because Bergwijn looks like he's off to Italy as well. We've had no interest or link with Leon Bailey. I think Nicola Pepe's interesting, but I don't think he'll come to us. I think he will go to a Champions League club. So what are we looking at? Of course, interesting thing about Lozano is he is carrying a bit of an injury at the moment. Mike Thomas says, Mark, if it's true that the buyback clause is 25 million, then Memphis would definitely be worth it. What do you reckon? You know what? I'm going to say a big fat no, and I'm going to get a lot of people having a moan at me here, but I was not impressed with Memphis Depay last night in the England-Holland game. I haven't seen a lot of him playing for Lyon because I really detest the French league. I think it's a bit of a pub league, to be honest with you. So I don't spend any time really watching it. I watched a little bit of their European games, and look, Memphis Depay is a good player, but I think even last night you saw the good and bad of him. He was involved in 2 goals, but he missed a sitter in injury time at 1-1. And some of his passing was great, and some of it was bad. He's not a centre-forward, I think is the thing for me. Memphis Depay is not a centre-forward. He's a wide left player. But it seems to me that he wants to play as a centre-forward. And if that's what he wants to do, it'd be a bad signing for United, because I don't think he's one of the top 10 strikers in the world football. And that's what United should always be looking to have. So I think Memphis comes with a lot of baggage as well. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But because it's his second time here, with all the baggage, and actually I just don't think... I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's a top-class player. I think he's a very, very good player. I don't think he's a top-class player. And I personally wouldn't take him back. Sorry. Matic, Fred, Pereira, McTominay. That is a midfield not even good enough for the top half of the Premier League. We need at least 2 good midfielders to challenge top 4, says Shivesh Singh. I totally agree with you, Shivesh. I do. I think that when you name those 4 players, Matic, Fred, Pereira, McTominay, I'd get rid of 3 of them. I would happily get rid of 3 of them. And we've got 4. So, yeah. You want one of those in a team that's trying to get into the top 4, not bloody 4 of them. We're carrying a lot of deadwood, as many people would say. Kaushik Prasad, thanks for the contribution there. Pritashwi Praswaz says, Martial and James are both young, who needs to play more often, Mark. Martial is also just 23. I mean, I think what will happen at Manchester United is that Lukaku will be offloaded and we won't buy a replacement. I think Martial will move into the number 9 position, and then we've got options, haven't we? Is Bruno coming? Bruno coming. Mark, says Indradeep Chowdhury. Yes, I think so. Yes, I think so. We should buy Eric Dyer, says Kaushik Prasad. Thank you very much for that, and thanks for the contribution, Harley B. He was on the list for us to talk about. So there's a news story today that Manchester United would like to bring Eric Dyer to Manchester United, funnily enough. I mean, we did... The funny thing is, when we signed Matic that summer, Eric Dyer was the first choice for Manchester United. He actually was our first choice for Jose Mourinho. But we couldn't get him out of Spurs because we just couldn't get him out of Spurs. So it didn't happen. But it's interesting with Eric Dyer because he's not a first teamer for Spurs either, is he? I don't think Eric Dyer for me would be a good signing. I've got to be absolutely honest with you. I do not think Eric Dyer would be a good signing for Manchester United because he's not particularly fast. I don't think he's particularly gifted with the ball at his feet. And they're the 2 things we need. I spoke to you about this last night, so I'm not going to repeat it. And I think a lot of you agreed with me. We need... it was the Times reporting it, thanks to Tim Latondi, who's also a member of the United Stand Members Club, because I can see your lovely little shield next to your name. Thank you there. Helped out by a member. High five. So it's the Times in the UK reporting about Eric Dyer. Manchester United need a new centre defensive midfielder. We don't have anybody who can play that position anymore with what I believe we need. The ability to take the ball off the back foot and move it quickly, but also the ability to move quickly physically to close the ball down and win it back. Matic cannot do either of those things. McTominay can't do either of those things. Fred, I thought maybe could do those things, but Ollie doesn't fancy him to do it. Pereira can't do it, and Herrera's gone. So we need a CDM that can do that. If you buy Eric Dyer, I think you're probably just buying a younger Matic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because Matic was pretty decent about 5-6 years ago. But ultimately, I think we need somebody with a bit of pace, a bit of tenacity, and the ability to win the ball back and play the ball quickly. So it wouldn't be Eric Dyer as far as I was concerned. I'd be looking for somebody a little bit more mobile. Ryan Sessegnon's apparently not going to sign a new deal for Fulham. I only mention that because if United are all about this youth fascination, he's an interesting player to be looking at because he can play left back and he can play left wing. And I know we've just bought Daniel James who can play that position, but what if we are going to play Martial more centrally with Rashford as the two strikers and with Greenwood? And we don't know who's going to play on the right-hand side. And you've only got Daniel James on the left-hand side, so maybe Sessegnon gives you a little bit of variety there. I don't know, but he is available, and I think he's a good player. I do. I think he is a good player. For those who've joined a little bit late, I'll just repeat what I said. I thought there'd be a lot more coming out of this De Ligt thing. Did the video this morning about De Ligt. It looks like United are out the running now, but there was a comment. I mean, he played England last night. I expected there to be loads of quotes, but there was only one quote that came out from De Ligt after the game last night. Talking about his future, and he said, "I will take time to reflect on what is the best option for my future." And, as I said this morning, and as I've said many times before, the best option for De Ligt's future is not to come to Manchester United and play in the Imperial Cup in a team that is very, very, very fragmented, it's unstable, and it's got a lot of dodgy attitudes in it. It's not the place to come and grow. I hate to say that because we need those sort of players, and we've got one in Daniel James. But as people were joking there, when Daniel James walks into the dressing room, who are his role models? Who are they? This is the challenge that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got. Because when the instructions have been given out and everyone's left to chat amongst themselves, you got Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba, Ashley Young, Phil Jones, Juan Mata, David De Gea, Lindelof, Luke Shaw. These are the people that Daniel James is going to be influenced by. Now, maybe some of those people are good influencers, maybe some of them are bad influencers, but we don't have that 2 or 3 players in that dressing room that will be the leaders that will go, this is what this club's all about, Daniel. This is what you need to do. And we had it for over 20 years. Steve Bruce's, the Eric Cantona's, the Roy Keane's, the Ryan Giggs, the Paul Scholes, the Gary Nevilles. We had that in abundance, in spades. And now we haven't got it at all. So it's all right buying these players, but we need a total change of mentality. And I hope that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't too much of a nice guy, because we've got to get that back. We've got to get it back. It's why we were so weak at the end of the season, because we're weak-minded. Robert Brennan, Divan Zabatar for Lukaku, cheap with potential. Look, anybody for Lukaku as far as I'm concerned. David says De Ligt to Liverpool. You know what? I'd be gutted. I'd be absolutely gutted, but they're champions of Europe, and Van Dijk plays next to him at the back. He might think, you know what, this could work really well for me, especially if he likes England so much. It'll kill United fans. It'll kill United fans if if De Ligt goes to Liverpool. After this last 2-3 weeks talking about how we're going to get him, and Liverpool fans have said sod all because they've not assumed they were in the race, and then they come in and get him, that's going to be yet another kick in the nuts. We may as well just go out and stand out in the street with our legs wide open and say take a kick if that happens. But it could happen. And if it does happen, you know who I blame? All these lying twats on Twitter and on Reddit groups saying that De Ligt was done. Because I knew they were bloody lying. They're just lying to try and get more followers. And you shouldn't do that with Manchester United fans' emotions, because they'll believe it and they'll think it's going to happen, because it's the hope that kills you. He could still come to United, but I doubt it. Z Zanderberg, perfect young Norway defensive midfielder at Genk, says Duke Media UK. I'd like to see us signing that sort of player, Duke. I would like us to sign that sort of player. It excites me. But I think what we've got to do is, we've signed Daniel James now. He's young, he's exciting, and there's that risk element because he's from the Championship. If we did sign someone from bloody Belgium or Norway, great. But you can't do it more than twice. If we bought Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, that's it. James and Longstaff, for this summer, that's it. They're the 2 young, risky sort of signings. Let's leave it there. You've got to go and buy 3 top quality players. You've got to go and get Bruno Fernandes. You've got to go and get, hopefully, a top-class centre-back. And then you've got to get... The right wing is the one that still really interests me, because Daniel James cannot be the right wing solution. That's the sort of thing that Norwich would sign when they go up. Let's try this young Championship winger. And, we're Manchester United. We're meant to be closing the gap on Man City. Daniel James could be an absolutely sensational signing, but he should not be coming in as a first teamer. He should be coming in on the bench, and then you work your way in. But we do need to sign first team talent. And look, I think something big's going to happen with Manchester United next week, and I think it's going to happen with this guy on my left. I really do. I think we will sign all British players, says IzoXOH. I think that would be a massive mistake. I don't know about you lot. I think it would be a massive mistake if we just sign British players. I really do. And Viking Red, I really am worried that we might sign Gareth Bale. I've got to say, I do not want to sign Gareth Bale. I really don't. Get Toby Alderweireld for 25 million, easy upgrade. Jeff Masson, I don't really want Alderweireld. I've said this many a time because of his age. He's going to be 31 next season, and in 2 years, he's going to be finished. And in 2 years, we're meant to be trying to win a title, so you've got to replace him again. But if we can't get De Ligt, we can't get Koulibaly, we can't get Harry Maguire, we can't get Ruben Diaz, then Alderweireld I'll take. Yeah, I would, because it's better than having the shit that we've got. So if it's none of those 4 players, I would take it. I'd take Toby Alderweireld over Manolas. I would. I don't really think Manolas is the solution. So if we can't get Ruben Diaz from Benfica, we can't get Harry Maguire from Leicester, we can't get Koulibaly, and we can't get De Ligt, I would take Alderweireld, because you've got to get somebody in, and he's absolutely way, way better than everything we've got. Chong and Delo on the right wing, says Mark Platten. I don't think Delo's a right winger. I think he's got to be our right back solution as well. Neil Hooley says, great show, Mark. I'm enjoying a beer and watching. Good. It's the Friday night show. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's a little bit more interactive. A lot of reports are saying that Tottenham are in pole position for Fernandes, Keanu Films. They're not in pole position. They're not in pole position for him at all. Spurs cannot outbid Manchester United, and Sporting Lisbon will go with the biggest bid. And I think Spurs might enter the party, but we'll just outbid Spurs. So I don't see him going to Spurs. I think Bruno Fernandes will come to Manchester United, but I'm not gonna say it's done. He's definitely coming. There's a medical booked on Monday morning. I ain't going to do any of that, because that's what idiots do. They gamble to try and look like they're in the know. All I can say, I played you the clip. You can have it again. You can have it again. You can't have it again. It was in... It's playing up a bit. May the 1st. Bruno Fernandes, Thomas Meunier, Jadon Sancho. I was told in March by 2 separate people that Manchester United are going to sign those 3 players because they're their 3 top priorities. Not that they were going to sign him, but they were their 3 top priorities. Well, I don't think we're going to get Sancho, but I think Bruno Fernandes has always been one of our top priorities. So I think we will get him, yeah. What about Fekir Felix? Are we going to sign him and Wan-Bissaka, please, says Hibber. I've never felt that João Felix was coming to Manchester United. He just never felt like it was a United deal. You know, like some deals you think, yeah, they're a United deal. I think João Felix is not a United deal. It looks like an Atletico Madrid deal or a Juventus deal or a Man City deal. It doesn't feel like United. Pritash Prasad says, Mark, if Koulibaly, De Ligt, Cancelo, Pepe aren't coming, what does Ollie mean by the quality players that want to come to United? You know what? It's something that plays over my head as well. What he's talking about there is a very relevant point, is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say you'd be surprised at the quality of player that wants to come to Manchester United despite the fact we're in the Europa League. I did say at the time, and I'll say it now, I'm waiting to be surprised, because if Gareth Bale is meant to surprise us, that don't surprise me. He just wants a big payday. What surprised me would be a De Ligt. What would surprise me would be a Jadon Sancho. What would surprise me would be that sort of player. I wouldn't be surprised if Bruno Fernandes came to United. So I want to know as well. George Ramos, we need to sign players that want to play for the badge, and so far it's a start. I don't want signings that want a lot of money. It's been going on for too long. Also, do you think Paul will stay? What a comment, George. You're spot on. I agree with you there. We want players who want to play for the club. I do think Pogba's going to stay, yeah. I think Pogba's going to stay because he's in that golden cage, which Adam from Get French Football News was on about the other night. He's in a golden cage. I think Pogba wants to go, but nobody can afford him. So he will stay for another year. And then he'll go next summer because he'll be slightly cheaper because they've run another year of his contract down. So we'll lose him anyway in a year. And he'll probably have the same season next season as this season because his head's like, I'm going in a year anyway. I'm not totally focused. So I'd rather sell him now. But we can't sell him for undervalue. So we're sort of prisoners as well. Pogba's a prisoner, I think, because he wants to stay, he wants to go, but no one can afford him, so he'll have to wait a year. And we're prisoners as a club because we can't let him go for cheap, but we probably would like him to go now. So it's one of them situations. It's the modern game, isn't it? This is the problem with high transfer fees. It makes it very hard to sell players. Ziyech for 25 million seems like a steal. I don't get why we're not going for it. It says it's October, and yeah, and he can play on the right hand side as well. He'll go somebody will get hold of him. Ajax have already said he's going to go. Where he'll go, I don't know. I mean, maybe an Arsenal, maybe a Spurs, but United should be looking at it as well. MJL1106, opinions on if we get Bale for cheap or on loan for a year to help James grow, as he most likely likes up to Bale with him being top Welsh player. I'd take Bale on loan at a push, but I don't really want Bale. I've got to be honest with you. I don't want Bale. I want us to go and buy a right winger who can be players as our right winger for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And the thing is, there's players out there who can do it. There's Irving Lozano, there's Steven Bergwijn, there's Jadon Sancho. There are others, but there's those three as well. There's Nicola Pepe. There are options. So Bale comes in for a year to what? Help Chong and James, but then he goes. I still think I don't think those two players will even be ready in a year. James C. Not sure watching Messi and co attack for 80% of most games will develop De Ligt into the best in the world. United is the best financially and development, says James C. Look, De Ligt's not made his mind up. He still could become a Manchester United player. Let's see. Partey's available. Yes, Partey is available. I think the thing I would say is, and it's nice on a Friday night to be able to have a little chat and digest things. Please do smash a like. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes while we're live, and keep the questions coming in as well, because I've got a bit of time and I love the Friday night show. It's great. My drinks ran out, but you know me. You know me. Unfortunately, I don't know all of you lot because I haven't met you all, but I get to get the vibe of the comments. But you know me. You know if there's something to moan about, I'll do it. If I get very passionate about Manchester United and I'll moan about it. But throughout this transfer window, I've been very consistent. I have not got frustrated about the lack of signings. I have not started saying we're going to end up with nobody. I have not said anything negative. All I said at the start of the transfer window was I will judge this transfer window on August the 8th when it closes down. And even if we've got a week of it left and we've only got Daniel James, I will still be saying it's not looking good, but I'm not judging it till August the 8th, because I truly believe United will do something. Because if they don't do big business this summer, we're finished. We're finished for a long time. Even if they spend £250 million this summer, it's only a first step to where we need to be. We've got to do it again next summer as well. But if we don't do it, we're finished. We're so far behind that if we don't start trying to claw it back, we're just going to get further and further away. So, and even if we do, we might still be in trouble. So I truly believe that United are going to bring in some top quality players this summer. Do you think Mata staying will sway De Gea, says Chloe Jenkins? I mean, that's a good point. That is a good point. Maybe United are thinking like that. If we keep Mata, De Gea will stay. Because if De Gea's best three mates, or best two mates, were Mata and Herrera, if Herrera goes and Mata goes, then De Gea might go. So that's a very good point by Chloe. And that then develops the point to, is it worth keeping Mata to make De Gea stay? And I would have to say yes. If Mata goes, De Gea goes, keep Mata. It's sad to do that, but it's true. Jim Amara Singh says, Mark, would you or the United Stand ever do a meet and greet social with subscribers and members of the channel? It's funny you should say that. Thanks for the contribution. But yes, we will be doing it. I mean, we're over in Australia. Where else are we on tour? I haven't even looked yet. I know who we're playing. Is it Singapore and Beijing? So we're over there for those. If you're over there, if you live there, keep your eye out. We'll be doing meet and greets over there when we're over there. So yeah, definitely. And as I said, tomorrow at midday, we are playing at Tithe Farm Sports and Social Club, which is on Rayners Lane in Harrow, North London. Midday kickoff tomorrow. United Stand are playing. So come down. Remember, you can get your United Stand shirts and memorabilia and merch, link in the video description there. We want to start getting people coming down to the games because it's pre-season at the moment, but we've got some big games coming up. Be nice, even if it's only 5 people, get a few chants going. Let's start getting the United Stand army following the United Stand FC and stuff. And if you want to just come down and meet people involved, like Flex will be there, I'll be there. So yeah, pop down. You're more than welcome. We're going to start giving the details of the games out, but we do want to do some meet and greets and stuff. Like we were meant to do one in Dublin last end of last season and it got cancelled. So we do want to do it. Midday tomorrow if you want to pop down. Link information's in the video description. Riola's transfer ban has been suspended, says Sharath. Well, there was always going to be a way around it. Rose B says, has Callum Gribben been released? Yeah, it is. The thing is, I don't follow the youth setup avidly. There's a few players I keep an eye on and I watch the odd game here and there. There's some people who watch it avidly. I don't, and the reason is I could easily watch every youth game. I tend to watch the highlights, but the reason I don't is because it's very difficult to, even if you shine in the youth setup, it doesn't mean you're going to be a great player. It doesn't even mean you're going to make it. So that's why I don't spend so long invested in watching the youth, because it's like, you don't need to watch every game as far as I'm concerned. You watch a few games, you go, yeah, he's got talent. Let's see if he goes to the next stage. Callum Gribben was one of those players who we were waiting for him to be given a chance in the first team. He never got it because of injuries and stuff, and now he's been released. Apparently, he might even resign from football. He's only 20 because of his injury problems, which is really sad. But you know what? It's the life of football as well. A lot of footballers don't make it because they pick up injuries. It's like anything. So it's really sad. There's a few players been released, and we wish him all the best in everything else that he does. Brilliant. I live 5 minutes away from Rayners Lane, says Jim Amorous Singh. There you go. Pop down tomorrow. Say hello. Right. Do you really think we will announce a big signing next week? If so, why? Says ZK Aches. Because I think that Manchester United could have waited to do Daniel James officially. There was no. We knew the medical had been done yesterday. They didn't need to announce it officially at 3 o'clock on a Friday, and I think they've done that because they're clearing space for somebody else next week, early next week. So I think United will sign somebody next week. Yeah, and I do think it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, because the reason I think that is because Bruno Fernandes is playing for Portugal on Sunday, and then he's got to sort his move out. But he's got to go on holiday as well. So the best thing he can do is finish for Portugal on Sunday, get his move sorted next week, and then go and have 2 weeks on holiday, knowing where he's coming afterwards. So I think it's going to be done next week, yeah. And that's my reason for it. I mean, people will say, why do you think next week? It could be the week after. Because these lads need to go on holiday. They need to go on holiday. De Ligt needs to go on holiday as well. For the same reason, I think De Ligt will sign next week for somebody, because he's got to go on holiday and stuff like that. So you get that done, don't you? Anders Amin says, what do you think of Odegaard as a potential centre midfielder or right winger? I think he's a fantastic player, but he's a Real Madrid player ultimately. So I just don't think that United need to do anything to do that. Will you be making more merch, hats for summer, says Jonah Jones. I don't know. We'd never even thought about that. It's a good idea, isn't it? It's a good idea. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, the road to 500,000 subscribers. 500,000 subscribers. God, what a journey it's been. So we need your help on this. Please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, click that subscribe button. And when you've done that, make sure everybody's ringing their bell. There's a bell there. Click it so you get notified every time we go live. If you're already a subscriber, there's a share button. Every time we're live, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. We need more people coming into the channel so we can get more subscribers and we can get to 500,000, which is just going to be, we've got lots planned. I just want to get it done. But, it's going to take time. But we won't get there without your help. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Fosu Mensah is a right-back option, says Miss Someone 25. I want to see Fosu Mensah be given a chance on the tour. That's all I want. If Ollie looks at it and goes, he's not good enough, he's off. Fine. I just want him to be given a chance. I'd hate to see Fosu Mensah in the next couple of weeks leave United, because Ollie's not had a proper look at him. That's all I ask. He can go in August. All I ask is he's given a chance. Do a petition to sign Ruben Neves from Wolves, says Salman Rafiq. It'd be a good signing. I agree. Thanks for the contribution, Christian Flores. Thank you very much for that. Slightly lower numbers watching tonight, maybe because it's Friday night, or is everybody watching the Women's World Cup? Which I suggest you do watch the Women's World Cup. There's nothing wrong with watching the Women's World Cup, but France against North Korea, isn't it? I don't know about that. Maybe watch it on highlights. I wonder who would be after Fernandes if we get him, says Rory Bacon. Look, I can do a prediction for you if you want. I think that United, and be funny to see how many of these I get right. So we've got Daniel James. I think we'll get Bruno Fernandes, Thomas Meunier, Hirving Lozano, Koulibaly. That's my 5. I'm not going to be right, but you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you? Koulibaly, Thomas Meunier, Lozano, Bruno Fernandes. Although we do need another midfielder in there. That's the thing. That's the thing with signing Daniel James. He's one signing, but he doesn't fit into the five. That's a very good point. You've brought me into a great point. This is the brilliance of the United Stand community and my brain. That you've just took me somewhere I thought about this afternoon that I never would have thought about on the show. So, United apparently are not going to sign any more than 4 or 5 players, right? So, forget Daniel James for a moment. The 4 or 5 players need to be centre-back in order of what we need. Centre-back, CDM, midfielder, right winger. They're the 4 we need, right? We need those 4. And some people feel a right back, so that's 5. Daniel James is none of those players. he is not a centre-back, he is not a CDM, he is not a midfielder, he is not a right winger, and he is not a right back. So they're the 5 positions we need, and the player we've bought is... we've got to make 6 signings to fill the positions we need. I don't think we're going to make 6 signings. So we're either not getting a right back, we're not getting 2 midfielders, we're not getting a right winger, or we're not getting a centre-back. Or we're going to make 6 signings. I don't think we're going to make 6 signings, so we're not going to get every position we need, which is inexcusable because Rabiot and Partey would cost you 43 million. Bruno Fernandes hopefully would be one of the midfielders, by the way. Our net spend this summer means we should be able to get everything we actually want to get. Praveen Thomas says, if Lukaku moves out, Mark, do you think Zaha can be a success at United? Second team, like how Mane has been successful at Liverpool moving from Southampton. We did a video on Zaha this week, didn't we? I would not be opposed to Zaha, to be honest with you. I'd take Zaha over Memphis. There's your question. Who would you take, Memphis or Zaha? I would take Zaha over Memphis because Memphis has gone to Lyon in a bit of a pub league in a very good Lyon side, and he's done well. Zaha is playing in the Premier League in a Crystal Palace side, which is basically a relegation side, and done absolutely amazing. So for me, Zaha is the better risk of the two because he's Premier League proven, and I think he's done better things. So I would take him back. And also, you've got that added thing with him as well. If we've got a buyback clause with Memphis, but we've also got effectively a buyback clause with Zaha because we get a large proportion of his sell-on fee. What time is your match tomorrow, says King Condry? Midday. The details are in the video description. If you are in the London area tomorrow, you want to come down and see United Stand play, we're playing at midday tomorrow, which is 12 o'clock, and the link is in, the details are in the video description. And if you are really wanting to get behind United Stand FC this summer, we are selling the kits, we are selling jumpers and all sorts. So, get in there and get yourself some stuff. And if you want to come down to future games, you could even get Flex Lukaku to sign it for you, or I'll do it if you want. Why hasn't the channel been verified yet? It's strange, says Lelit. This channel is verified on YouTube. We're not verified on Twitter. I think Twitter have stopped doing verifications. I don't know why. What do you think about Maradona to Man United, Mark? Joe Barry. Next, rubbish. Absolutely nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Sadiq Rahman, member. I love seeing the members in the video, in the live comments. Not because everyone has to become a member. If you want to become a member, it's up to you. I just think they stand out really well with their little badges. Sahara's done a great job at Palace, says Sadiq Rahman. And Robert Bostock, also another member, says Fred will be better next season. Needed time to settle. Yeah, maybe we will only sign 1 midfielder, but I do think we need 2. Fekir is going somewhere, Michael Goberg. I think it's a very interesting one. He says, could Fekir be a possibility for us if Bruno or Maddison doesn't sign for us? Well, Fekir's going somewhere, and I think Fekir will go to Liverpool. I do. Here's a question for you. Where for Griezmann, now apparently that Barcelona don't want him, says Chloe Jenkins. Do they not want him? Do they not want him? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there at all, to be honest with you. If Griezmann doesn't go to Barcelona, then I do think that United will be in for Griezmann. Yeah. Which means that United might pull out of any Bruno Fernandes deal or right winger deal. So, because he cost over £100 million. I sort of hope that Griezmann does go to Barcelona because I think Griezmann's not the right signing for United. You're turning your back on what we need to bring in another shirt seller, and I don't think that's what United should be doing. MEFC Reese Russell says, hi Mark, been a while, how are you mate? I watched a few key highlights of Holland versus England. Bergwijn is a left winger, can he play right wing effectively? Yes, yeah, he plays off the right for PSV and swaps about, he can do both, yeah. Definitely can. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. We've been live for 50 minutes on a Friday night, and we've just been back and forth having a good old chat. So thanks for the hardcore people who are watching tonight. There's about 2,000 or 3,000 who aren't watching. I don't know what they're doing tonight. But thanks for the hardcore viewers. Hopefully the non-live people will be those people catching up with the show. But really enjoyed it. Remember, keep subscribing, bottom right hand corner. Keep sharing the videos. Let's get on that road to 500,000. You can come down and watch United Stand play tomorrow if you're in the London area. The video details are in the video description. Get your United Stand polo shirts, your jumpers, United Stand FC tops. Link in the video description for that. Smash a like on video. And if you didn't see the Daniel James reaction video, click the eye in the top right hand corner or go through the homepage. It was really enjoyable. First signing of the summer. We had a good laugh with it as well. So if you didn't see it, go and give it a watch. The Daniel James signing for United video. And if I will be back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night as usual, and we have got some content going up for you tomorrow as well. So thanks everyone for watching. If you're coming down to watch United Stand tomorrow lunchtime, I shall see you down there. If not, I will see you on the United Stand tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a very good evening and enjoy the start to your weekend. And I just want to say as well, look, the season's been finished for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and I think we're having a great time on the channel. Having a great time. So thanks to everybody who's getting involved. Thanks to all the moderators. Thanks to everyone watching live. Thanks to everyone who's not watching live. Really enjoying the content. I'm so glad the season's over, and I'm really just enjoying the United Stand community and all the chat that we're having from the bottom of my heart. Really am enjoying it. So thanks everyone for getting involved. I'll see you tomorrow. Speak to you soon.